Hi everyone, welcome to our very first week here in our Biology 315 course here. So we're going to go right into learning module number 1, and I'm just going to briefly discuss what you need to do this week in order to complete all of the required assignments. So first off, this first module is perhaps the easiest, okay, so of the different modules that you'll be working your way through. So this is a time for you to explore not only the contents of Module 1, but also the remainder of the course. So again, you should be spending some time looking at the Start Here folder with the syllabus, as well as the assignment information folder for your final project, okay? Additional sources we'll kind of talk about throughout this video. So in Module 1, we are going to cover the first chapter of your textbook. So it basically goes into what is ecology as well as what is the scientific method. So whenever we introduce a module, it's always a good idea to check out the introduction just to give you a summary of what you will be learning in this week, okay? Now, I always like to look at the learning objectives as well, because by the end of this week, you should be able to check off all these boxes. You should be able to explain how the terms organism, population, community, ecosystem, and biosphere relate to one another. And you'll be using these terms throughout the entire course, so it's a good idea to have those written down somewhere for reference. You will be able to use and interpret different graphical methods of data presentation. So we will actually be looking at how to present data using the scientific method. There's like bar graphs and regressions and line graphs and things like that. You should be able to explain why legitimate research should address uncertainty. So this also applies to our textbook reading this week. So understanding what is considered legitimate research, and then when we're writing our discussion boards and conducting our own research, we know what are good sources to use, okay? So blog posts, not good sources to use. Wikipedia, where everybody can edit it, not a good source to use. Primary sources are the best sources to use, which would be our journal articles. But secondary sources can also be very useful, such as like our secondary source magazines, such as Nature or Smithsonian, as well as newspaper articles and government sources and things like that. Okay. You will also be able to evaluate ways that scientists can present their results so that they will not be misunderstood in the popular press. So this is important, especially when we're talking about our discussion board posts, and we will be taking information from our own research, research that was conducted, and explain it in layman's terms to our fellow classmates. So we need to understand how to do that, and so that our fellow classmates won't misunderstand us. And then we will take a look at articles on climate change and analyze whether popular understanding of this subject has scientific merit. So we'll be examining some different articles. Okay. So here's a good introduction, a little more detailed introduction. So obviously the field of ecology is pretty extensive, so we're going to kind of start out with an overview of the field of ecology. And then throughout the term, you'll notice that we kind of get more narrow in topic, okay? So you can kind of review what is expected this term. And then our required resources. So this week you will be taking a look at Chapter 1 in your textbook, Elements of Ecology. So hopefully you have had a chance to acquire that textbook. And then we have a video on global warming, as well as 3 articles on climate change that you will be reviewing to gain some more information about global climate change and what it is and what is the evidence to support it. Okay. And then let's take a look at our discussion board posts. So if you have not had a chance to review my video on how to write an exceptional discussion board post, I suggest you watch that video. It's located in the announcements folder. But this week we're going to be taking an article of our choosing from Science Daily. Hopefully you will choose an article that is at least biology based, most specifically ecology based. So if you can choose something that interests you in the field of ecology from Science Daily, that would be perfect, okay? But if not, just choose something that is a scientific experiment that is interesting to you. Make sure you cover all parts of the discussion board posts. So it's always important for you, before you click submit, to go back and look at the instructions again to make sure you haven't left anything out. Oftentimes students forget this last part of this first discussion board, where they forget to discuss if the results surprise them. Okay, so this is kind of the opinion part of the post. Once you've submitted your initial discussion board post, don't forget to return to the discussion board and choose 2 students to respond to. And again, my video that I presented earlier has information of what to include in those response posts. But they should be detailed, they should include research, and they should be in a professional writing style. Okay? So the response post due by Sunday midnight. The module quiz. So each week you will be completing a quiz based on the textbook reading. So when you read through the textbook, I suggest that first you kind of just read through it once, paying close attention to the figures, making sure that you understand the overall concepts that are introduced. Then take the quiz. These quizzes are open note, open textbook quizzes, and they don't have a time limit. So have the textbook open in front of you, and as you're going through the questions, look up the answers. Okay, so this is a way that you can actually learn in depth about that topic that was introduced in the textbook, because you're actually looking up the answers. And so it's a different type of learning, but it's very effective. And so that's why you are welcome to use your textbook while you are answering the questions. And these will be multiple choice. This first quiz just covers chapter 1. And so it has 5 questions related to chapter 1. If you take the quiz and you do not get 5 out of 5, take it again. So you can take the quiz twice, up to 2 times. And the highest attempt will be the one that's accepted. So if you get, 4 out of 5 the first time and 3 out of 5 the next time, the 4 out of 5 will be the one that counts. Okay? Just be aware that when you do take the quizzes, if you do the second attempt, you might have different questions than the first attempt. So again, it's a way for us to learn the material in depth. Okay, so you can take it up to 2 times. The best score will be the one that counts. And then in this module, we have an optional field exercise. So since this is an online course, we don't really get to do any data collection ourselves or experimenting on our own. So this gives us an opportunity to kind of explore the field of ecology within our own backyard. Okay, so you can perform this experiment. If you do, you can send me the information if you want, but it's up to you. Okay, this is an optional non-graded activity. So basically you're just going to take a 15-minute walk in or around your house and write down what you see. Okay, so you're going to just kind of make some observations and then think of an experiment that you can design based on those observations. So basically you're following the scientific methods. You're applying what you learned from the textbook into your own surroundings. And so here's just an example of what that might look like. You can do this. You don't have to. It's optional. Okay? And that's it for Module 1. So you basically just have 2 assignments. You have the discussion board post and you have the quiz. Okay, next week we get into our our milestone assignments for preparation of our final project. So every other week we'll have these milestone assignments, which are worth 95 points. It's pretty significant part of our grade. So this week, consider yourselves lucky because you only have one textbook chapter to cover with the quiz, and you just have a discussion board post. So take that extra time this week to kind of get yourself organized for the course, as well as maybe start looking into what is expected of you for the final project, so that you can start setting time aside weekly to work on it. Okay. If you have any questions about what you need to do for Module 1, feel free to ask it in the General Questions discussion board post, or you can email me directly. I look forward to seeing your discussion board posts, especially the part where I learn a little bit about you.